It is currently 30 degrees in the city. This is high as we will make for the day. The afternoon will continue along 30 degrees. It's going to feel like 32 degrees. However, no rain is in the forecast, so that is some good news. Let's see the membership of this board. It will be 9 people in various spheres of business or expertise. 3 positions reserved for those who are called the primary players in the celebration. I am speaking about 1 nominee that is most representative of the steel band movement, 1 most representative of the carnival bands, and another nominee most representative of the Calypsonians. 6 other positions are held for the ministry to make the appointment. I'm speaking about the organization that was established to replace the Carnival Development Committee, which is the NCC. That act was Act 9 of 1991. My guest this morning is the chairman of the NCC, Mr. Kenneth De Silva. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Rennie, and good morning to your listeners.
Thank you so much. It's always good to hear you. As the umbrella organization for the festival, you have an unenviable job. You have a lot of responsibility for a celebration that is as Trinidad and Tobago as almost anything else is. Please explain to our listeners, what is the role of the National Carnival Commission?
Well, you have a board, the National Carnival Commission board, that comprises 6 independent members elected by the government, and then you have a representative from each of the components, Mass, Pan, and Calypso, and we move in a direction of a level of unity in terms of all the requirements for the festival, which spans all over Trinidad and Tobago. Mm-hmm. Although we have Carnival in Port of Spain in a big way, which is a focal point, there are also, which has grown significantly over the years, 50 regional carnivals throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So where you have a carnival happening in town and downtown and all these places, you have carnivals, in Mayaro, you have carnivals in Sandy Grande, Arima, everywhere you can think. Even in Paramin, you have a carnival going on. So it has spread significantly over the past, I would say, 5 to 6 years.
Mm-hmm. Kenneth De Silva is my guest this morning. Part of the mission statement of the NCC is to promote and explore the carnival's potential. How difficult is that task in that, in the minds of many people, the artistry and creativity of the original product may have been compromised to a massive street party, and now you have to find ways to take that product that some believe has been compromised and find different ways to make it pay for itself. How difficult is that, first of all, if you agree with the assumption that you've got a compromise of the artistry and creativity, and if so...
Well, I wouldn't say compromise. I say things have changed. Mm-hmm. People have gone in different directions. And we are trying to put back the original carnival. We're starting this year to use a window on Carnival Monday from 9 in the morning at the Queen's Park, Savannah, until 1, where we'll only have traditional mass, which is what we know as mass 30, 40, 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. You still have a smattering of bands that will bring some sort of representation familiar with the Mac Williams and the Peter Minshall, the Raul Garib, and those. But those are getting smaller in numbers. Mm-hmm. And what you have happening is between the genders, 90% of the people in the bikini beads, 80 to 90% are women. So women have taken a strong role in playing mass and playing themselves and having a great time and having an experience.
So if I get that inference, Mr. De Silva, just for a moment, it is to say that while they appreciate the original artistry, quote unquote artistry of mass, they are more into a celebration that requires a lot less of that cumbersome costume and are more gravitating to let's just call it a Rio style kind of carnival.
Yes, the very one of the principles of Carnival is that it gives me the freedom to be what I want to be within the parameters of the law and Carnival do. So if I feel to walk the skin-piece bikini and say, let's break the law,
Right.
I want to carry a massive costume. What I want to be in that day is freedom of expression. That's the main commandment in Carnival. You can't legislate unless people are going outside of the law.
Right, understood. Understood. And the strictest interpretation of Carnival is a celebration of the flesh anyway, so that's a...
That's right. You see, and you have more freedom. People can, jump up and have a great time. It was great to look at Mark Williams and Raul Garib and these people. It was wonderful. The artistry was there. You still have some of it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have as much as it. People want to free up now. The challenges of life are not greater than 40 years ago.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. They're the pace of life. So if I'm going to go into Carnival, I want to have a good time in a safe space.
Understood.
That's the main thing. A good time in a safe space.
And then there is no law against it, as you say, NCC chairman of the board, Kenneth De Silva.
No, there's no law. I think that maybe not in my lifetime, that they'll have body painting in mass in years to come.
Yes. A lot of that is happening right now.
They have it in some parts of the world already, but it'll come here.
Yes, indeed.
It's evolving. We have to evolve. We're still evolving in Carnival.
There are many...
It's a wonderful festival that gives us the perception, all of us, whatever color you are, or whatever race you are, you perceive that we all are one at Carnival time.
Better.
And, the NCC can put up the infrastructure, but Carnival is self-organizing, You can't legislate for a band to come out at 2 o'clock in the morning. They want to come out, you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing that people, there's an urge to want this massively to happen. And all we can do at the National Carnival Commission is attempt to drive it, look at a route to make it more convenient so there'll be a greater flow.
You cannot, in fact, you cannot corral creativity and or expression.
No, you can't do that. You can't satisfy creativity.
Indeed.
You can't do that.
Another challenge for the NCC, Mr. De Silva, is developing and implementing a marketing strategy for Carnival with a view to optimizing revenue. After 26 years of operation, the NCC, how much closer to the attainment of that goal are we?
We will never get there unless we have a whole board. There's a unity at the board level, because if you want to send the product outside, it has to be produced. It can't be panorama like it's 16 hours long.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You can't get a Dimash Grass show that, goes for, 8 hours or 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You have to produce it. So you have to have good synergies with the groups and the government-appointed members, and even more critical is a strong relationship with the tourism board, tourism development company, tourism ministry. There has to be strong synergies between the Ministry of Community Development and Culture and that ministry in terms of shaping a package that we could send outside the world, because that's where you make the money with television rights.
Right.
In generating economic community, you do that with rights. So unless you do that, but as it stands for the past 20 years, and I have been around for 20 years in Carnival, the NCC per se, the government-appointed members, have absolutely no input in the direction of the product. They will say, go jump in a lake. Why do we have to have medium and large bands in the same competition on final night? It's the Olympics Japan. They want the best of the best. So I have personal reservations with that, but I am on my way out.
Well,
so who's going to take up the next? Who's going to take up the baton and have that challenge?
But if you put the seed down right now, maybe the person who picks up the baton will understand the resemblance.
But have been trying to put down that seed now. I would say in 2010.
Keep trying.
And 11, and before that, I was there from 2000 and 2008. I've been saying that. Nobody taking me on.
Oh Lord!
Because the cabinet minute and the cabinet note gives the authority to the interest groups to do what they want to the product.
That is going to lead me on to a question that many have asked. There are bands that go to other venues. You mentioned, of course, and I concur, and I think most people will agree. Yes, you cannot control creativity. However, routing and the parade is something that should be under the control of the National Carnival Commission. There are many.
That is a given.
Right. There are many who say that they are protective services and a number of security companies have a massive network of security people to ensure that you have compliance according to the route. And you have to have people and they are sensible in terms of how you speak to somebody on Carnival Day, that, you tell the flag man or flag woman, you can't go down that road. Yes.
You try to avoid confrontation.
Yes, because
there's a time for us to enjoy ourselves.
Everybody's already into something, so you got to be careful. But the question I wanted to ask of you, Mr. De Silva, is this: there are many bands that go to other venues on Carnival days. Many say depriving patrons of NCC judging sites the total splendor of the mass and inviting charges of segregation in the Carnival. Is there anything being done to correct this? If you agree with that assessment.
Well, I see something called elitism creeping into the Carnival. But then, you see, you cannot legislate association. If I want to be your friend, people can't tell me I must find it ready. You know that we are a democratic society, and people will feel more comfortable in a certain space than another space. You can't legislate that. What you could do is make it mandatory for people to remain on the design route, and they don't have any culprits breaking the route. But in terms of elitism, which I don't like at all, but how do you legislate that? People come to Trinidad for an experience in Carnival. Where they get that experience, they're going to go. So that's what they want. You cannot legislate that. All you could do is, as long as they remain within the parameters of the law.
Come prepared to Carnival to walk from side to side if you want to feel the full splendor. You can drive, so be prepared to do a whole lot of walking in order to see it, because some may come to specified points and others may go other places. You mentioned earlier that the evolution of Carnival, which no one can dismiss or argue with. There is also evolution of the musical form. Soca has captured the imagination of the young and by extension the future direction of the art form and Carnival. Here is a question most asked. With an organization responsible for all of this like the NCC, why is the NCC not in control of something like the Soca Monarch or have a competing competition? Because this attraction to Soca as against the traditional Carnival is in the hands of people who will take the art form and the experience forward. So why is the NCC not...
Well, we mistake all governments made. Those people are private entrepreneurs. But the state gave them millions and billions of dollars. All right? So if they do that, what can I do? What do they do? Nothing at all.
So you are in agreement.
These fellas getting $15 million to produce it. They're business people.
It is.
They go and have a product, people like it, and it flies, but they are not at much risk in terms of financial risk.
Exactly.
Because the government sometimes underwrites maybe 80% of the cost.
These subventions could be going other places. So you are in concurrence that an exercise or an experience like the Soca Monarch or a competing product should not be receiving subventions from the government on the one hand, and two, should be under the aegis of the NCC, or at least there should be a competing competition.
You should have an input into it. Not having nothing. You should have some support, but not complete. Somebody give me some seed money, then it will quit. But what you find happening now is that the corporate entities in Trinidad and Tobago find, for whatever reasons, find more credibility and more exposure for their products in that event. I can't believe that's a business decision.
Yes. But we should not be using our money to support a private endeavor, is essentially what we are saying.
There could be seed money because you have to grow culture, and it's in different forms.
Let us hope that that is listened to, because it seems inconsistent with having this thing get to any level of not profitability, but at least paying a major part of the celebration. Could be worked if, in fact, revenue was collected from there. We're talking about revenue. Let's talk about the situation with Pan Trinbago. My guess is the NCC chairman, Kenneth De Silva. The NCC has been given the responsibility to handle all the receipts coming out of Panorama. Pan Trinbago's event infrastructure is collecting all the receipts, but it is going directly to you. There are many Pan men who are happy about this because they feel, one, that payments to them will be guaranteed, and in the bigger picture, more closer accountability will come to the organization, come to the business of Pan.
Yes, yes, I hope so. I think so. I'm optimistic about that. But I can't talk too much about it because there may be a legal challenge.
Understood. Understand. All right. Next Sunday is Panorama semifinals. Yes, except for Pan lovers who may see this as a line, because most people see this as a line, with the exception, of course, of Pan finals. So the world is excited about the instrument of Pan. Folks come to hear it without question, unpersuaded by anything else on the finals night. But in the case of semifinals, there does not seem to be that great excitement for Pan as against the excitement for coming for a line. The question then, from your experience, is the event called Panorama losing its appeal generally, not to the enthusiasts?
Not from what I saw last year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, but you have, in North Stand particularly, you have cliques of people that they know where to find their posse within the North Stand. And it is a line, but it is a highly musical competition. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice balance.
It's a good balance, all right. Kenneth De Silva, I want to speak to some new rules you've got in the March Gras this year. Would you clarify that for us, as far as singing 2 songs, 1 song, and, of course, the prize money?
Again, too, that was the remit, and the total remit for Tuku. The NCC had no input on that in terms of 16 Calisonians and 1 song. So I really can't comment on that.
Wow, because you run into the problem here. When I hear the NCC, National Carnival Commission, I understand that you've got all these entities who must be represented.
The NCC, Mr. Bishop, is a toothless tiger. All right.
Unfortunately, that is what I see coming out of this discussion here this morning.
The two-chef tiger. And that is as honest as I can be, because it's the truth.
And you, for being candid, is something that precedes you, and that is one of the reasons I was so excited about having you here this morning. If we are to get this in some order, I would assume we need to have
everybody at the same page.
Everybody at the same page, but on the same table, not one grouping coming with their direction and submitting it to what it becomes a coordinating body.
That doesn't make any sense at all. It's a waste of time.
Kenneth De Silva, for those who are planning to come on down, we listen to all over the world as the whole world is nothing but a village with the advent of the technology.
It's going to be a great carnival, I'm sure of that. The excitement is in the air. The judging that we're going to announce the judging results from the various Spaniards will be announced tomorrow, and we'll know who are in the finals and stuff like that. So that will have some hype tomorrow.
At the end of your tenure with the NCC, what would you say are the top 3 achievements you have seen? And for the one who will pick up the baton, what are the areas you would primarily see, 3 of them, for them to focus on to bring this to any consistent running of a business enterprise? Because that is what Carnival needs to be, as though you're running a business enterprise.
Carnival isn't making money. Many people have that misconception. Carnival generates money.
Yes, it does.
For other people to make money. The airlines are full. You have to book 5 days at a hotel. They can't book 1. The taxi drivers do well. The restaurants do well. Everything. The small entrepreneur, the vendors, they do well. Carnival generates money for people to make money. That's what we do, basically. We don't make money. We're there to make money. We could make money if the landscape was different.
But the landscape,
selling the product outside of Trinidad and Tobago through the media,
which is part of the point we made earlier. The NCC, the NCC. What is your input in the whole question? Because that was part of your mandate. What is your input now and you may be repeating something you said earlier, but I'm probably doing it just for effect. What is the input of the NCC right now with packaging the product?
Make sure that all physicals are in place and ready to go from A to Z. Security, but we're handling the ticketing aspects this year for all components. So we are also partnering with the National Lottery Board. So the ticketing is under the responsibility of the NCC, and the collection of monies and the auditing of the monies collected also under the National Carnival Commission. But that are legal situations, so I would not like to
comment on it. All right. In conclusion, then, I did ask you for the top 3 things Kenneth De Silva, the chairman of NCC, has been most proud about during his tenure.
I'm not sure I've made any achievements. The board is able to pull off reasonable carnivals. The entire board is not a one-man show. And that gives me a great pleasure to be there for so long and still be and enjoying it. I thoroughly enjoy the management of Carnival. And I have a great board, and a very good deputy chairman, and some great people on the board, great young people. Not young guy myself. And they're quite nice.
As candid as you have been and taking the time to be with us this Sunday morning, I am truly appreciative. Wishing for a very a smooth as possible. It is.
I'm sure things will work out. Thanks for calling me.
I thank you so much. You have yourself a wonderful day, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.